You're refusing to give your information.
No, what happened is...
I'm only going to ask you one more time, and then I'm just going to have to cuff you up, man. And I don't want to do that.
Can you get your supervisor out here, please?
Yeah,
Can you get your supervisor, please? Because I was on the sidewalk.
We could totally get you on your way if you could just provide us your information.
I don't believe I've committed any crime to be warranting me to ID myself. I feel like criminals have to ID themselves.
Can I get your ID?
For what? No, I don't get it unless
I'm trespassing right now.
No, I only give it if I commit a crime.
The incident began with a man filming outside a bank in an exercise of independent reporting in which he had stepped onto the public sidewalk to carry out his work as an independent journalist. Recording footage. Most probably for a piece or other journalistic purposes, he was ignorant of the fact that what he was doing was routine activity destined soon to be raised into an increasingly tense confrontation with local law enforcement. This meeting would reveal the officers' apparently misinformed understanding of constitutional rights and their tendency to action towards a misguided sense of authority.
What's your name and your badge number?
Officer Bremer.
Bremer. And what's your name and badge number?
Long story short, it sounds like whatever you were doing at the bank, they don't want you to be over there.
I was on the public sidewalk recording.
Okay, well, they said it. Whatever you were doing, they just don't want you over there anymore.
I was on the public sidewalk. They can't tell me not to be on the public sidewalk.
Man,
I know. I'm just. You want to go over there?
No, not really.
We can go over there. I told them they came outside. Let me calm down. They came outside. The guy, Aaron, he said, "Hey, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm an independent journalist. I'm just gathering content on the story." I was walking all the way up down Truman, and I walked down there to record the train. And then the lady came out. She said, "Hey, you can't record the bank." I said, "Ma'am, I'm on public property." So
yeah, but you can see why that would kind of make them uncomfortable, right? I mean, it's a bank.
You can't even see nothing.
I know, but they don't know that.
Yeah, you can. If you stand outside and you look at the bank, you can't see anything.
The saga began when the bank employees grew uncomfortable with the filming man near their place, so they dialed the police. It wasn't too long before officers arrived and held his identification. Apparently, they considered him to trespass private property and wished to investigate his identity to arrest him for delivering a warning. The man refused this because he said that he hadn't done anything wrong and thus has the right to exercise his rights to record in a public space. The officers were not moved by his explanations and insisted on his identification, saying that non-cooperation would earn him handcuffs. While an implicit threat of escalation, the man could only be calm, but unyielding. After all, he was claiming that he was not tied to comply unless he had committed a crime. He requested to be taken to a supervisor in which he thought at least an officer of higher rank would bring some sense into the madness and sobriety to the chaos that was happening. The conversation between the young man and the police continued with him giving more detail into his acts. He said he was walking and filming along the sidewalk and had no intention of filming the bank at all, although it was very much visible in his shot. It seemed that the officers were not convinced by his explanation, though. They said the employees of the bank are uneasy about him, and they wish for him to leave. In response, the man clarified he had stayed at all times on public property and never stepped onto any of the private property owned by the bank. Filming from a public sidewalk is obviously not trespassing, he said, a legal fact that clearly seemed to have been lost on the officers. The officials continued while saying they were not comfortable for the employees working in the bank, hence they had reasons to intervene.
It's a reflect.
Do you have an ID on you?
Do I need an ID?
Yes.
For what? What crime have I committed?
They identified you. You just identified yourself as being over there.
On the sidewalk.
I'm investigating.
Okay, what crime?
This is.
What crime?
Possible trespass.
I was on the sidewalk. How you going to trespass me and I'm on the sidewalk?
Because they're saying you were on the property.
I got camera footage. Now, if they lying to you and I show you that they're lying, are you going to do something to them?
That's between you and them.
Oh, no, that's somebody over there is lying. I'm on the public sidewalk. I came all the way up Truman. I walked down there to get the footage of the train. On my way back, I just looked at the bank and they came running outside. So, yeah, came back over here, walked there, about to go to work.
Yes, I need your ID.
No, sir.
I do, though.
No, you do not. For what crime?
I just told you they put a call on you.
I wasn't. I was on the out, and I wish I was still on that sidewalk when you pulled up. I wish I was on the sidewalk. I was right here, sir. No, I'm not. No, I'm not obligated. No, I'm not obligated to give you my ID because I haven't committed no crime. No.
During the discussion, the officials continued to increase the pressure on identifying the man. They seemed to think that he needed to be stopped for filming and that the anxiety of the employees working at the bank was enough to oblige them. From their angle of view, the anguish of the bank's employees appeared to matter more than the rights of the man. The officers stated that the employees testified that they saw the man around that place. They also claimed that they were investigating a possible trespass case. The man maintained his ground and stood on the sidewalk all that duration. He had no legal reason to be asked to identify himself, as he claimed to have committed nothing criminal. Even when he is trying to de-escalate the situation by requesting the presence of a supervisor who may go on the scene, they still urge him to produce his ID. In case he will not, they will handcuff him. He holds out on his beliefs and keeps asking for a supervisor who may explain the situation and intervene appropriately in dealing with the situation rationally. As the standoff continued, the officers became more agitated. They tried to water down their actions by arguing that the employees of the bank were having to endure inconvenience. They claimed their fears deserved the police response. They seemed more interested in placating the bank than in trying to comprehend the man's rights to due process. However, the man responds that tinted windows in the bank made it impossible for him to view anything inside, further dimming any suspicion that he may have been trying to capture some sensitive information. The officers still didn't change their approach to the situation. The officers made one point when they referred the conversation to his car, saying tags on his car were not appearing in their system. The man questioned how this was possible, noting that the car came from a dealership, so maybe explained the state of the registration. He pointed out to the officers that they hadn't observed him drive and noted they'd have no problem with the registration of that car if viewing it in this scenario. The officers continued on anyway, even questioning whether he had the registration paperwork with him. It seemed like they were trying to divert the topic of discussion, the real one, which made the gentleman ask the question. The man had committed a crime for recording on the sidewalk.
Brother, is your tags aren't coming back on file. Okay. For the Kansas registration. Do you have the registration paperwork for it? You can hold your phone up and zoom.
No, it's okay. No, I'm trying to
Asking
be.
you a legitimate question. Do you have the registration for the vehicle?
Hey, you guys. So this is when, and I had my selfie stick out when I was recording. I was on the public side.
Now you're redirecting against my question of.
I don't have to answer your question.
I asked you if you have the registration information for your vehicle that you drove here on the Missouri roadway that is unregistered as of right now. Now, it doesn't
Go
come
ahead.
through our system. We ran it through out of Kansas.
Go ahead.
Now we need to verify to make sure. So that's why I'm asking you if you have the paperwork.
You didn't see me drive the car.
How else did you get here?
It don't matter.
How else did you get
It don't matter, sir.
It does.
It does. And if you see that came from a dealership.
Right.
Wanting to give us your information.
No, listen. If I committed a crime, I will give you my ID. That's what reasonable, articulable suspicion of a crime. I was standing on that sidewalk, sir. Why would you try to infringe on my rights?
So let me get this straight. So
Why would you try to infringe on my rights,
you're gonna
Mr.
stand-
Brimmer?
You're gonna stand outside of a bank.
No, I walk.
I heard you.
Okay.
So you're gonna stand outside of a bank
Okay.
every day, videotaping the bank, and you don't think that's gonna make the employees extremely uncomfortable?
See, where they get
Because
uncomfortable,
You're in the inner city.
Listen.
Do you stay in Kansas?
their uncomfortability don't
You're
stop
in the
my
inner city
right.
of KCMO, okay, so that makes most businesses extremely uncomfortable.
And what's up with your buddy, man?
Throughout the incident, he explained how he felt his rights were being infringed upon without any reason whatsoever and should not be taken lightly. He recalls asking them why the officers wanted to pressure him into producing identification if he had not done anything wrong. He believed that from his point of view, they were trying to feed their need for powers rather than to enforce the law. They decided to detain him despite his ongoing protests. The officers made him sit on the curb, treating him like a criminal, ignoring his repeated claims of having committed no crime. His protestations were disregarded and handcuffed in full view of the public. He maintains, in fact, throughout the ordeal, his detention was illegal and that his right to record in public was being unjustly infringed. He thought that the officers were wrong and that his rights were thus ignored.
So now that you've identified yourself now as the one being standing
on the sidewalk,
videotaping them and making them fill out.
No, I came to
issue the verbal warning.
No, listen.
Which is what we're trying to do, so we can send you about your way. No, you're refusing to give your information.
No. What happened is,
I'm only going to ask you one more time. And
Go ahead.
I'm just going to have to cuff you up, man. And I don't want to do that.
Can you get your supervisor right here, please? Can you get your supervisor, please? Because I was on the sidewalk. You know what I would have liked to happen when you guys pulled up and they called you guys? Hey, where was he standing at? Was he on you guys' property? You should have. What I would have liked is, sir, when you pulled up and they told you what happened, hey, he was on the sidewalk. He has every right to record on the sidewalk. I wasn't even coming to the bank. I was coming to get the train.
There's officers that monitor the city cameras that saw you verbatim on their property.
That's a lie.
It's in the call.
Okay, do you want me to stop this video and show you?
No, I would like to get your information so I could issue the verbal warning and send you about your way.
I wasn't on their property. That's how trespass works. Trespass, if you're on the property, they tell you to leave. That's how it go. They give you a chance to leave, and then you're trespassed.
And they don't know that you have a selfie stick. Why would citizens that are probably unarmed come and approach you?
You say that one more time?
Why? Okay, so first off, you're videotaping, you're standing outside, you're being extremely suspicious. They can't tell that that's a selfie stick. Why would citizens...
They can't tell. It was like this.
They can ask me a question and not let me...
I was like, Aaron came outside and talked to me. We had a good dialogue.
That's not what the lady on the phone said to put in the call about you.
I can show you the video. Y'all want to see the video?
No, I'd like to get your information so I can send you away.
For reasonable, articulable suspicion of a crime.
All the reasons
you did not, sir. I'm just wait. Let's just wait for the Let's just see what the supervisor say when he get here. This is wild.
Okay. Well, I don't like your movement, so I'm gonna.
What I'm doing?
I don't. You keep backing away from.
No, I'm not doing anything.
Suspicious.
Why are y'all taking my cat? Y'all stop my video. I'm not going anywhere.
I'll set it down right here.
A superior then arrived on the scene. The man hoped that the superior would see that the man's rights were violated and correct the situation with the officers. Even though the superior could sort out the matter by having him released, it was already too late. The man had been openly detained and embarrassed for merely exercising his right to videotape in a public place, which he legally should have been allowed at the beginning. The affair could no longer be reversed by the time the supervisor intervened. Thus, it had a feel of injustice to it. In the post-engagement analysis, one can clearly see that officers concerned acted out of misplaced hubris and understanding of the law. Officers were driven by ego and a failing respect for the law. The primary concern here seemed to be in appeasing the bank employees rather than respecting the man's rights. What the man experienced with law enforcement brought out an even more underlying issue: a need for officers to receive complete training on constitutional rights and what those rights entail, rather than what is said or recommended by personal feelings or outside entities.
So are you going to refuse another lawful order?
I'm not refusing. First of all, you got me detained. Yes, for what crime? I'm on a public sidewalk. This is illegal detainment. This is an illegal detainment.
And I literally just said that I would like to let you go.
This is illegal, sir.
This is illegal. Well, you keep cutting me off. But the way that you're acting, as of right now, we've given you multiple commands and you're not abiding by them.
I don't have to follow your commands if I haven't committed a crime, sir.
You don't have to follow...
Not if I haven't committed no crime. It's not lawful if I haven't committed a crime. It's not lawful if I haven't committed a crime. Mr. Burmer actually did a real good job, but they came, they asked me for my ID. I said, what crime have I committed? Because if I haven't committed a crime, I'm not obligated to show an ID. So that's what I told the guy. And Mr. I don't know how to pronounce his name. It's like he got offended when I said that. I said, listen here, I'm just exercising my rights today. Okay. The First Amendment to record in public. That's all I've been doing, sir. You just seem like you just kind of took it personal. That's why I just said, hey, instead of going back and forth, let's get a captain or you guys supervise.
I could already sent you home, man.
Hey, the captain's gonna coach.
Well, he's about to tell him the same thing he told you.
Okay.
We can't verbally trespass somebody we don't know.
You can't trespass my life.
I get what you're saying.
Plain
but
view
you're
doctrine.
just there.
Plain view doctrine. Look at this. They taking cuffs off me.
Yeah, I told you were detained.
Illegal.
Now you just been.
He illegally cuffed me. Sure. Yes, sir. Yeah. So they pulled up, y'all. They cuffed me, man. Yes. 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 Look.
The man's experience with law enforcement was an eye-opener not only for what was being done, but to remind police officers of understanding and respect for the Constitution. Officers whose legal prowess is not that sharp create liabilities for the communities where they are meant to serve. Examples as shown here are destabilizing citizens' confidence in law and tangibly raise the question of whether citizens' rights would be respected when interacting with the police in the future. The incident portrays how the actions of serving police can go seriously wrong when such officers treat the legal rights they are supposed to protect under their authority rather than minding the rights of the people they serve. In another encounter with police, a man stopped by officers following contact after a suspicious activity report. The officers said the basis for the stop was that a person was parked in an RV across the street from an elementary school and appeared to be sitting alone. Man complained he didn't know why he was stopped and kept asking what crime they suspected him of committing. The officers stated that they were there to check if this person was trespassing since they were parked on private property. This individual pointed out that there was no sign posted that said "Do not trespass." He also pointed out that he never refused to leave, which is a prerequisite for a trespassing charge.
You're asking for my ID. Is it because I'm on private property or is it because I'm suspicious?
Because we're called here for a suspicious person. That's why that works.
Okay, then I don't wish to identify myself.
Well, then we're going to have to talk about that.
Okay, let's talk about it. Do you not want to talk about it anymore?
No, we're not going anywhere.
Oh, okay. Am I free to go? Am I being detained? What crime do you suspect? What crime are you detaining me for?
You're not, like I said, we're right now just looking at your. This is called a suspicious person as someone.
So, is that a misdemeanor or a felony? Being suspicious. Is that a misdemeanor or a felony? Being suspicious.
We're just trying to identify you.
And I'm trying to figure out why I'm being detained.
All right.
Why am I being detained?
We're trying to figure out who you are and what you're doing here. That's it.
What crime do you suspect me of committing?
All right. We didn't say there's any crime right now.
So what am I being detained for?
Right now, it was called as a suspicious person.
What crime do you suspect me of committing to be detaining me right now?
Right now, you're parked on private property.
I can't leave because you're detaining me, though. What crime do you suspect me of committing to be detaining me right now?
So, can I explain, sir?
Is there who's the leader right here?
May I explain?
Who's the leader right here? Are you in charge?
I'm not in charge.
Who's in charge? Are you in charge, sir?
No. Our sergeant is occupied right now. Can I explain what's going on?
Don't touch me. No. I won't.
Can I just explain?
No.
You had a question.
What am I being detained for?
Yeah. I'm gonna answer it for you, pal.
Okay.
Okay. So, can I explain?
I'm asking what crime. I'm not asking for an explanation. I'm asking what crime do you suspect me of committing that I'm being detained for right now?
Well, technically, it's trespassing because this is private property.
So
he explained to you.
But I have to refuse to leave, though.
No.
Apparently, during the session, the person seemed interested in leaving, but the officers asked the person to stay because they claimed that they needed to verify the detainee's identity so they could release him or her. However, this individual insisted that he or she did not commit any crime. This individual did not want to provide identification because officers' reasoning that it is legitimate cause for detention, so they may be investigated further, is not valid. At one point, the argument became intense as the suspect asked the police officers how credible their claims were, mainly on the issue of whether mere suspicion was enough for detaining the suspect. At one point, the officers then stated their real interest was who the person was and that there was no crime going on. It was at its boiling point, sometimes even having moments of disagreement. but the officers kept on trying to explain their actions and assert control over the situation. However, the individual persisted, questioning the legality of the officers since he detailed his rights and lack of proof to show that he had done something wrong. This led to a long question and answer session where each person articulated his argument again and again for hours. The officers eventually announced that they were waiting for a supervisor, while the individual was concerned that he was being detained for no provable reasons.
You said your supervisor's coming, correct?
No, he's not coming. You
Okay.
asked if I was in charge, and I said no.
Okay. So who's running the show right now? Because everybody's giving me like half a 2 cents.
There's 3 police on scene. 3 police
Okay.
are in charge.
And what crime are you detaining me for
I
currently?
just answered.
Trespassing?
Trespassing. We need to ID you. We're not trying to charge you with a crime.
You have to have a trespass warning first. You have to give me permission to leave. You can't just give me a ticket for
I'm
trespassing.
not trying to give you a ticket.
Then what ID? What do you need ID for?
You're detained because of that. I'm not trying to give you a ticket for anything. You understand that?
I don't understand that because
The whole
if
reason why we're out here, if I can explain. The
So-
whole reason
so if
why
I'm-
we're out here. No. You're in an RV parked across from an elementary school.
correct.
That's the reason why we're here. Because
Okay.
you could probably agree with us that it is suspicious to wait in an RV the entire day across from an elementary school. Wouldn't you agree?
No.
Okay.
That's
well, in the eyes of the
subjective.
law, that is suspicious, and you are
Really? In the eyes of the law, that's suspicious? Where in the law does it say that an RV across from the school is suspicious?
It doesn't have to say it anywhere.
Okay, that's very ambiguous. I understand if y'all want to come out and make contact with me, cool. But to have 3 police officers say, no, you're detained after you make contact with me and I'm willing to leave, that's unacceptable to me. So that's why I'm just not willing to deal with y'all right now. I feel like this.
Okay.
If you're,
Well, I'm trying to explain it to you.
well, I mean, what's your end goal here being here? Do you want me to stay or leave? You want me?
We'd like to identify you.
So your whole purpose of stopping here is just to ID me. It's not to get me to leave the property in general. So I don't understand how that helps your basis
I think
of
I
trespassing.
think ultimately it would be best if you left, but right now we need to ID you before anything happens.
Okay, well at this time I like to remain silent.
I'm just here because I'm a school officer in the school call. That's all.
Okay, I apologize. I don't know if you were working all day, but no one came by to make contact with me earlier.
I was here and they saw me.
Okay, yeah. To my point, there's no trespassing signs in front.
No, I get it. My experience, we've had people over here, and I'm not even accusing this. I've had guys taking pictures of kids. We've had sex offenders around. I'm not even on
I don't even want to. Okay, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Okay. Call me a pedo. Disgusting. You have, get out of here. Freaking disgusting. Have a gun on your hip. I don't consider you a murderer. Ridiculous.
It was later that the scene was diffused by the supervisor and the person was set free with no further action being taken. The supervisor intervention pointed out the issue of oversight and clear communication about these incidents. The initial detention on suspicion was doubtful, therefore the person was to be released.
You have somewhere to be?
Again, I wish to remain silent at this point. I'm not. Okay.
No, because what I'm saying to you is we could totally get you on your way if you could just provide us your information. You'd be on your way in 2 minutes. That's the only missing piece.
I don't believe I've committed any crime to be warranting me to ID myself. I feel like criminals have to ID themselves. I haven't done anything wrong.
Sure. If you have nothing to hide, then there's nothing wrong with you providing your information.
If you don't have any law to state that I have to provide ID, then you have no right to ID me.
Explain it.
I disagreed with you, so we're waiting for a sergeant to come, I guess, after his medical call.
We're not obligated to have a sergeant respond here at all.
Okay, and I'm not obligated to answer any of your questions.
Okay, but so nevertheless, you still are detained.
Okay.
And then we'll just
And I'm not
remain
moving.
detained for what? The rest of the day?
I don't know. That determines on you. You're running the show right now, not me.
It doesn't determine any of it. It determines me.
Yes,
What
because
does that-
you're detaining me. I'm not
Yes.
detaining myself. I would like to leave at this point.
Sure.
You're saying I'm detained, so that's on you. So you're running the show, not me.
Yes, and this entire thing, you'd be on your way in a couple minutes if you just provided your information. But you're refusing to do that. So that's why we're here at a standstill.
Okay.
So we'll just remain at a standstill.
Okay.
So, is there any way I can see your license and then you'll be moved on your way? That's it.
We already know what the registration is on the vehicle and all that stuff.
Again, I don't wish to answer questions, and I wish to remain silent at this point.
Okay? But listen, right now you're on township property. That's what we're talking about. And we're just asking just for your driver's license. That's it. We identified who owns the vehicle, and you said it was you, correct?
You're Matthew Cribbo?
We just wanted this done so then we can get out of your hair here. That's all that we're looking to do here. We're not looking to violate any rights or anything like that. You can, like I said, we're on recording as well. We all have our body cameras on and our MVRs on right now. All right? That's all we need to know. And then we're going to get out of your hair. That's all that we need.
Confronted with the DL picture.
Did you? All right, so I don't really know what the big deal is here, but you can go.
So I'm not longer being detained?
No, we finally identified.
Excellent, thank you.
Such interaction once again highlights a greater argument on the balance of responsibility and ensuring law enforcement investigates suspicious activity, while citizens are assured their rights not to be detained without proper justification. Questions arising out of this incident have relevance to training, accountability, and the apprehension on the part of law enforcement that detentions must be carried in accordance with constitutional guidelines on protections against unreasonable searches and seizures. These cases also highlighted the general issue of how suspicion, being abstract, leads to confrontational situations, often as people feel their rights are being abused. Resolution, therefore, brought out what should be followed in the right procedure and the value of interventions by the supervisor in resolving dispute between officers and the public. They have served once again as another reminder of the delicate balance between law enforcement's duty to investigate and citizens' rights to operate freely within the bounds of the law. What began as a simple exercise in independent reporting, a man filming on a public sidewalk, quickly escalated into a confrontation with officers seemingly misinformed about constitutional rights. Miscommunication and misadventure quickly turned a routine procedure into a tense standoff that, even though diffused by a supervisor, raised residue questions about the training and judgment of the officers involved. In this instance and the second where another individual was arrested after being parked in an RV, a common theme presented is that suspicion, absent some tangible underpinning to validate it, can quickly destroy trust between the public and law enforcement. There was also a significant question placed before the reader concerning the larger overall conflict officers' perceptions of authority and the law between the rights they are meant to protect. Supervisors did take intervention in those situations, but by then the damage had already been done to the citizens, who were left feeling that their liberties were conveniently misconstrued and overextended in some way. But what these encounters really underscore is the need for proper training, effective communication, and accountability. Without these, similar showdowns will continue to sow mistrust, leaving communities feeling vulnerable to the unjust treatment of those charged with their protection. There's still hope, though, that those law enforcement agencies will be able to learn from these interactions as they improve their understanding of citizen rights and ensure every single person's constitutional freedoms are respected.